Coming at you guys with another unhinged open mat commentary. We're starting off here. I want to intimidate my partner, so as he circles, I show him my asshole. Once he settles and realizes that my butthole is not a threat, he makes grips on the pants, and he starts dragging me across the mat. Similar to how a lion would drag a gazelle through the Serengeti. Once I make connections, my feet are inside his biceps, I catch a De La Riva hook and pop him down to a hip. From there I come up because I can't berimbolo, and I start salsa dancing. Once I was finished dancing, I start working for side control and knee on belly. From here he still has a knee shield in, so I start framing sideways as I use my left hand to pick up his collar to drive him flat. He posts his hand on my chest, which you know what that means, black belt wrist lock. That's right. We start again, I catch his wrist, I move away, and I try to do the surfer pass, but he catches a good butterfly hook in the middle. I see his knees turned both towards the same side, so I go for a folding pass. He's got his arm hugging my neck here, and I think he wants to kiss me. I want to kiss him too. I'm trying to use my foot here to hook behind his heel to peel the leg off so I can go right to mount. Since I can't do that and he crosses his ankles, I drive forward and I flatten him out. Once I get my knee over his wrist, I step into side control, and the round ends. The other half of that round, we went off the camera. My apologies. Starting off here, we have another large, sexy gentleman. I find my foot inside his wrist, my other foot inside the bicep, always trying to keep my feet between me and my partner. I catch this cross-collar grip and the wrist, and I do absolutely nothing with it. As he's passing, I catch a butterfly hook on the far side, and I recenter our partner. Now that I have an overhook, I push on the far wrist, I step over for the triangle. He drives into me, and you know what that means. TP time, baby. Connect the hands behind the knees, extend the hands, extend the legs, and we have the TP triangle. We start again, always feet inside the biceps, feet inside the wrist. As long as my feet are between his arms, between his shoulders, as he moves side to side, I can have some form of control. See, both feet are inside that far bicep. He tries to pass, little extension, dumps my partner over. Here I'm looking for another berimbolo, but he uses his shin inside and stops me from coming up. I decide to stand, and he enters De La Riva. I have his foot trapped across my waist, and I have a triangle choke laced up with my legs. I'm trying to debate on how to take him over for this calf slicer. I should have forward rolled here, if I was smart and not stupid. But I sit back looking for the calf slicer. Now I'm grabbing his pants, maybe looking for a knee bar. I honestly had no idea what we were doing here. Maybe a toe hold as I grab the foot, maybe a knee bar, maybe just clear the foot out of the way and chase the back, or finish this calf slicer, but he's doing a really good job framing on my pants and extending from here. So we decide to collect the foot as he slips out. I put my hand on my own knee and I arch backwards, keeping his foot in my armpit for the straight ankle lock. You don't technically need to wrap the ankle. As long as you can bend the foot with enough power and pressure, you can get the tap. He starts off quick, my feet are inside the biceps, and he gets me stacked up. I do this a lot to people, or I don't know what to call it, maybe the lazy raccoon, the lazy panda, where I go to turtle and I try to roll, I go to turtle and I try to roll, and I'll just do it left and right. So I tried to roll over my inside shoulder, now my outside shoulder, and now I caught him leaning too far over. I catch the head, and now, because I weigh 497 pounds, I drive into my partner, moving his hand across his neck, and we sprawl for the head and arm choke. That position is much easier if you are a fat whale like I am, so just note that. My foot's inside the bicep as my partner tries to pass, and we end up in this knee shield. I have my cross collar and I have it low so that I can loop choke him here, but he doesn't fall for it. I should have used my leg to push his head over even more, trying to get that loop choke. Here, I don't like that grip that he has on my collar, so I find my heels inside his shoulders. Again, my feet are between the arms. I go for the heels inside the shoulders, De La Riva. Heels inside the shoulders, close guard. Heels inside the shoulders, now I found the De La Riva. I bump him to a hip, and I see that his hand is posted on the mat. So when he moves his hip off my bottom leg, we fire up onto the triangle, and quickly he posts his hand on the mat, so I snatch the arm for the armbar. Anytime someone posts their hand on the mat, they're susceptible to arm crushes, kimuras, omoplatas, and many other things. For that scenario, it was the triangle, he posted it again, and then it was the arm crush. We're starting out here again, he stomps on my nuts. Just kidding, he starts doing the wrecking ball pass with the leg drag. But I still had his far sleeve, so I swept him over as he got the knee on belly. I used my shin inside his bicep, and now I throw my hips forward to get his heels off my hips, and I circle around the corner on a leg drag. I step over the body, and now I start applying all 786 pounds of my weight on top of my partner. I see his arm, and I try to straighten it, and he bends it. As it's bent, I catch my foot on his wrist, I lock a triangle over the arm, and we have either a bicep slicer or a Tarika plata. I don't know which one he tapped to. A tap is a tap, baby. Starting off on the next roll, one of our newer white belts, he's leaning too far down with his upper body, so I catch the triangle. He starts coming towards me, so I wrist lock him. Every time I do the triangle, and then I do the wrist lock, I'm grabbing the elbow and grabbing the wrist and pushing the two together. He leaves his front arm trailing, so I grab the omoplata. As he wraps his arm around my waist, I do a belly down arm bar. Usually on the omoplata, you want to keep the wrist on the near side arm. He wraps it on the far side, so I do a belly down arm bar. Again, working the insides of my feet inside my partner, and we end up in close guard. He reaches back here with one hand, and he has the other hand in front of me. So I pull down on the head, and I push the wrist into my stomach. I'm going to show this again. Down on the head, push on the wrist. Don't pull the arms, pull down on the head. And then we get to the triangle choke, and guess what? Another wrist lock. Starting again, the feet are inside the biceps. I have my knee shield here, my foot is hooking on his hip, and I'm looking for a kimura. I pull on his elbow to get it closer to my face, and then we run out of camera a little bit, but I end up catching the kimura on the far side. I'm using my knee shield and my butterfly hook to try to help me elevate and move my partner behind me. As I slowly pry on this kimura, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my legs here, and I decide to do what I usually do, which is pull my legs out, and I step all the way over the top of the body for the kimura and the armbar. Here I should be leg pressing on his hip, but I'm being stupid and lazy, so we take the back. And guess what? Wrist lock. That's right. If you're ever going to guess what submission's coming next, you know to guess wrist lock. As my partner makes grips, I make grips on his sleeves. We're on the collar sleeve position, so I fire my leg up and over his shoulder for the omoplata. This was the position that I did the belly down armbar in before. So this time as he turns into me, I catch the triangle, and this time I quick adjust the triangle. That's enough wrist locks for one day, and we finish the triangle. We slap bump and we're going again. Somebody's giving him some words of encouragement. And now he's doing a lot better job doing outside passing. Those words of encouragement were to pass to the outside. But as I show him my butthole, he fell for my trap. We lace up this reverse triangle, and now we have a reversed kimura, and I get the tap. We start again, always feet inside my partner's biceps, inside their shoulders, inside the wrists. Controlling space, now I have one butterfly hook, and we end up in close guard. Here he does the same thing, so I punish him again, and now I quick finish this triangle. He put one hand back and one hand on my stomach, so I pushed on his wrist and I jumped on the triangle. Because it's been 2 times in a row now, we're going to make this a teaching experience, and I talked to him about it briefly. Always one in, one out gets you triangled. Both in or both out is safe. After our little teaching excursion, we start again. We end up here in this reverse de la Hiva standing knee shield position, and I start inverting for the back. I did a very lazy inversion, so it takes me a while to get behind him. I find his belt, but he falls backwards, and then I try to go for another omoplata. I end up coming up on top, and now I'm using all 977 pounds of my weight to pull him and take his back from north-south. As we find the straitjacket control, I cross-grip his wrist, I put my foot on his hip, I push him down, my heel finds his wrist, and I trap the other arm with my hand. Now he has no hands to defend, and we get the choke. Thanks for watching another Unhinged Open Mat. Till next time, let's get it.